Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how to create an amazingly designed backpack. Now there's two ways to do this for Redbubble. I leave the easier method in the print-on-demand Redbubble design course, but for those of you that want to learn how to do it, this is another method how to do it. Obviously, the print-on-demand course is going to have the easier way, and the easier way is actually what generates me a little bit more money because it's faster, it's easier, it's more efficient, it's more effective. For those who know about the print-on-demand design course, we are creating a different way to teach print on demand that takes out a lot of the design aspects to the design and actually allows you to enjoy designing, which is all about, you know, creating designs efficiently, having a fun time doing it, but creating many different variations to the point where we don't even need to do things like niche research or, you know, any of that complicated stuff. And it actually simplifies the process and it makes me money on a monthly basis. So without further ado, I'm going to show you guys how to create these backpacks for Redbubble. It's going to be a step-by-step tutorial. Obviously, this way is going to take a little bit longer, but for those of you that want to learn and want to check things out and create that one special backpack, maybe you're building a backpack for a friend, or maybe for yourself even, or for a family member for the holidays. These are cool gifts to give, or just, you know, something to spend time and enjoy with, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. So here I have this template to a backpack. For those that want to get access to this template, I will include all the templates not only in the course, but I'll actually include them in completely for free. They are Redbubble templates, and you guys can access them on my website. I'll leave a link in the description where you can access them. Like I said, they're completely for free. I'm not gonna obviously charge for them. They are free. Our resources. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So we have this template here, and you can see here I gave this color a background color, and we could go with any color really. It doesn't really matter, whatever is more visible to you. And when I work on these designs in Canva, I actually like to zoom in a little bit so I can see exactly what I'm working on. You can see here we have a side panel, we have another side panel here, and it actually tells you, if you look really closely and you zoom in a little bit more, it tells you exactly what it looks like and what direction the artwork is facing in. So you'll see what I'll do here and how this will make a difference for when we create some designs. But here we have the section for the face, right? We have the section right here. We have the C1 section right here for the side. We have A1. And if you look, if you just get a little bit of a zoom out here, A1 is right here, right? So everything is numbered by letter. And like I said, to get a little bit better of a look, you might want to go ahead and zoom in there and check things out. And you know, this is once again just a really good idea to kind of know where your art is going. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. For today's example, I'm going to be creating a Celtic style backpack. So it's going to say Celtic Pride on it. And so the first thing I want to do is I'm going to take my green text and I'm just going to fit it on here. And by the way, for the sizing of your design, you really could go with whatever sizing you want, as long as the design is pretty clear. This is a standard 4500 by 5400 design. If I just go over here to resize, you can see here this is the standard. And this is actually what I teach in the course for the certain size, because you can use this size for virtually any product that you're selling if you design it the right way. And like I said, I show that all in the design course. So if you're interested, that will be in the link in the description as well. But here, what we're doing is we're adding our Celtic Pride. And I know it doesn't seem the best right now, but what you want to do is you want to just go ahead and zoom in here and just read what it has to say. So here we have this margin, right? And this says, let me go ahead and move this actually. Let me go ahead and move this form of text. And we're going to position this. Let's go ahead and ungroup it rather, because it is grouped. And what it is we have the front pocket here, and it says print bleed, make sure your artwork also covers this page. So this is just showing the size of how big this is, but we do have this margin to let us kind of know where things are all fitting in terms of the pockets, the angles, things like that. So this little edge here would be, since this is the front pocket, would probably be this curvature area. Okay, so that's a little FYI. So what I like to do here is I'm going to just create something like this and just make it a little bit smaller. Now, obviously, the template is not fixed here, but we want to keep it fixed. Okay, and so there's a few ways to keep it fixed. Let's go ahead and move this down here, and we're gonna actually enlarge it just a bit. Okay, just a very slight bit. So what we can do is we can set this up kind of like that, and we can do a few things here. We can kind of just leave it the way it is, or you know, we can flip it. Just depends on how you want to go ahead and design it, but I'm going to go ahead and lock this element. So you see here this whole entire template. I'm gonna go over here and just lock the element, so no matter what I click on, no matter what I do, it will not move. Okay, and I'm gonna scroll up, and I'm gonna go back here to the right side. I'm gonna add my Celtic Pride, and me personally, with the way I want this designed, I'm gonna make this a little bit smaller, and we'll leave it just like this. And what I want to do is I want to add a 4-leaf clover here, and I want it to kind of like droop into the image, droop into the side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this 4-leaf clover, and I'm going to make the transparency around it a little bit smaller. And once again, this does take time, so if you're really just trying to make something custom for you, your family members, your friends, or for whatever reason, if you believe that it's going to sell, then maybe it might be worth the time. Obviously, time is very valuable, so if this is something that is going to take a long time for you, I recommend you check out the design course to get help with creating designs that are much faster with this. Okay, and so what this is going to look like here is I'm adding this 4-leaf clover right here. Okay, and what I want to do with this 4-leaf clover is I'll make it just a tint smaller, right? And remember, I already have my Celtic Pride right here on the front pocket, so it's going to be noticed, right? And I have this 4-leaf clover, and I want it to come kind of like this on the edge, right? So I'm okay with it bleeding off the edge right here in this section, and perfectly fine. And then what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to take this and do the same thing, but make it a little bit smaller, so something like this, and I just trim out the transparency sections that I just don't need. I'm gonna go like this and something like that, right? And that works very well for what I'm trying to do here. And then I'll take this 4-leaf clover right here, and I'll just add it under the word Celtic Pride, kind of like that. And what I'm doing is I'm creating a pattern sort of that will kind of overlap, right? And I can go over here into Canva, and I can search anything that's related to 4-leaf clovers or anything like that. Now keep in mind, the background that I do want to use, let me go ahead and unlock this real quick. The background that I do want to use will be, let me detach this, excuse me, sorry about that. The background that I do want to use will be black, okay? So in terms of black, it will kind of look like this. It will look a little bit clearer, but obviously we're not rolling with that for now because the section here is green. So I just want it to stand out a little bit more, especially for the template. So let's go ahead and zoom back out again and just undo the changes that I made. So kind of like this, and like I said, everything is locked, so it looks pretty good. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this same Celtic Pride text that I created earlier, and we're going to add it onto the panel. So if we just zoom in here, let's go ahead and zoom in, and notice here is we have this section here, or we could work on this first, the pocket. So with the pocket, I want my Celtic Pride section to go right here. And notice here, if you're ever curious about like your margins, you're not sure where it fits, what you could do is you could go over here and create a line or a square, right? Any square will work. And we take this square and we'll just make it a lot smaller, right? And we could switch up the color of the square. And this is just for measuring purposes, right? This is not necessarily for something that we're gonna add in our art, okay? And like I said, if we're ever not sure that something's not going to align, we have from the edge of the word here to this dotted line. And so that's going to be the distance. And so I could do that, and I could put this here, and you could see here there is a little bit significant of a difference. So I'll just move this to the side, grab this here, and you could see here now that they're going to measure up, right? So pretty close, right? It doesn't, I mean, you could try to make it a little bit closer, or you could just make this slightly bigger, okay? And that's about, I mean, you're not going to really get any closer than that, right? And the the customer rather is probably not going to notice something like this, but that's about as close as you're going to get there, right? There's like a little teeter of an edge. So if I made this just a hint smaller, right, it's about the same size, right? And so like I said, the template is going to make it look a little bit, not attractive in the beginning, but it's definitely going to work. So since we have remember this section here is going to be on this side of the backpack, right, the very top. I might want to add a 4-leaf clover here as well, and I just want it to be the same color actually as what I'm doing. So I can go with this one, right, and I have this 4-leaf clover, and I can go over here and I can just decrease the size to make it fit, right, something like this. And it doesn't have to be fitting exactly right. Even if it gets cut off a little bit, that's perfectly fine. We don't want everything to look perfectly narrow, because if it, or perfectly like straight rather, because if it does, it's just not going to have character to it, right? We want to add some character to the backpack. So something like this, right, make it even smaller, come off the edge kind of like that, will look decently well. Or we can, if we want, it could be straight out kind of like this rather. And don't be afraid to customize things in your backpack and make it look very custom. And this is just an example, right? So you don't have to use Celtic Pride by any means. You could do whatever you like to do. And so it wouldn't make sense for me to have the word Celtic Pride on the top here if I didn't have something related here. So what I could do is I could even make this a little bit smaller, and I know I do change my opinion a lot, but I can add here some sort of a Celtic cross. Okay, Celtic, I can add this, right, and I can make this as well as some sort of green here. And maybe I can in terms of tagging, this is just an idea for some folks here, is I can, with this Celtic cross, what I can do is I can market this to Christians, Catholic individuals in the Celtic space. Okay, and that's through Redbubble's tagging system. And even if I want to create an Instagram account where I want to promote products like this, imagine I just had a niche for just Celtic stuff, I can create an account on Instagram where I just promote this to groups of people. Okay, so here you could see here we're basically on the edge, and it just ends here, and it just ends about here. So if I want, I can make this a little bit bigger, but I do want it to fit slightly in the middle here. And if it doesn't fit, there's a problem. So I do have to move this over to the right slightly. Okay, and so you could see here, now the bar just about fits, and this blue bar just about fits. So maybe like a little millimeter that I can move this way, and it's about perfect like that. And so we got that done. Now for the Celtic Pride section is, like I said, we have it on this A2 section. We have something going on in the face already, and in the pocket, we have this here in the front pocket. So what I'll do is I'll think of a different place where I could take this Celtic Pride and I can actually turn it sideways. So let's go ahead and turn it sideways, basically 90 degrees rather, 90 degrees parallel to the floor. And we have this side panel here, and this B2 side panel is going to face here, but I want it to be on B1 instead. So here's B1, right, because it says on it B1, and I can take this and move it around. Now what we have here is the split down the middle, right, and this split down the middle is where I want it to kind of fit, just like that. Okay, so naturally we'll have curvature on the backpack. Okay, and what I could do is I can add here another Celtic cross, for example, and I can make it green. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. Don't overthink the process. One of the things about us designers, and I wouldn't really consider myself a quote-unquote designer because I'm not drawing any of these things. I'm not talented in that kind of way. But one of the things that I do like is that it doesn't have to be perfect. And there's, that's something that's beautiful about Redbubble, is that none of our work really has to fit a certain standard or a certain quota, because it's all subjective. Somebody might say my art looks terrible, absolutely garbage. Somebody else might look at it and say, this is absolutely beautiful, I love this thing. You know, it just depends on who's looking at it and what they think. And at the end of the day, if you're satisfied with your art, it's the only thing that matters. And what we could do here is we can create another aspect to this right here, right? So we can have a little bit of a gap. Okay, so it will say Celtic Pride on top of it, right? And here we have this. This is the side. So this is the side. So like I said, B1 here, and we have the mesh pocket. So if you see here on the backpack, there is a mesh pocket, and under it is you have the bottom panel. And so on the bottom panel, I definitely want to go with something with the same style text. So I'll go with this image that I have, the Celtic Pride image of text, and we'll do the same thing. We'll just kind of turn it sideways, just like this at 90 degrees. We'll add it, but I want it to be a little more chunky here. I want it to be a little bit bigger, okay? And since it is, you know, readable, Celtic Pride on the side, I know I might have to turn my neck a little bit, but what I really want to do is I want to go back here. Where's my little blue bar here? I know I left it here somewhere. Let's go ahead and see. Okay, maybe I deleted it, but I could always zoom out and get a look at how this kind of looks here, and move this that way. The more I zoom in, the more I could drag here. And notice how much space I have. Once again, if I ever want to measure, I take this square, just like this, and the square that I have is right here, and I could just make it smaller. So let's go ahead and zoom out again. And like I said, this whole process does take time, guys, so I wouldn't recommend this if you're trying to be as efficient as possible when it comes down to creating and selling designs. Now, of course, this will be a little bit customized, but this is a one-off design. This template is unlike any other template. If you try to put this on a t-shirt, it will not look anywhere near the same. It won't look nearly as good, and it would actually look bad in my opinion. But if you try to put this on, for example, like a pair of leggings, also same thing. It just won't look attractive. Things won't fit properly. So this is only for backpacks, so it does take time, but the fact that, you know, you learn how to do it is just good for just learning in general. So we can see here that this square fits just about. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect, but just about. And I could take it and I can scroll up, and you could see here it doesn't necessarily fit, and there's a big difference. So what I'll do is I'll just move this kind of slightly, and I can make it smaller. This whole Celtic thing, I could make it smaller if I really wanted to, but I could go back here, measure the distance, and I could just go back and measure the distance, and you can see it's getting a little bit better, but I'd really have to kind of make it a little bit smaller, right? But you can see here the distance now is this to the edge, and you can see here the distance is a little bit, you know, looser. So something like this looks a little bit better. Okay, and this will be my final measurement here. Once again, doesn't have to be exact. You know, you be real gracious with your mistakes here. Nothing is perfect. Nobody's actually sitting here measuring, you know, and it's not like we're in school trying to get the perfect answer to a math question. You know, art isn't really mathematical in its own kind of way. It's very, you know, it's full of nature, I guess you could say. Nothing is perfect, right? And it's perfect in its imperfections, I guess you could say. So that's kind of good. And so we have noticed, by the way, these little directions that say the artwork direction. So when somebody's reading, what do they see? Okay, and I can add this little 4-leaf clover right here. And don't be afraid for it to bleed off or, you know, get cut off or anything like that. At the end of the day, it won't make that much of a difference. Just add character to the whole scenario. And if we just zoom out, we could see here the different features to our artwork. What I could do is I could take this 4-leaf clover, and I'm actually going to replace it with this other one. I feel like I like this one better, and I feel like it's more traditional. I just like the way that one looks. And I know that in terms of tradition, I don't necessarily mean the Celtic tradition, just in terms of the style of the art. And notice, like I said, this box right here, okay? And this box for the A1 pocket. Now for the pocket, what I think would look really cool is just one big 4-leaf clover right there in the middle. Okay, sorry I moved this. This should not have moved, but where's our 4-leaf clover? Did I add it yet? There it is. Okay, so I want it right here, make it nice and big, make it a little bit smaller, and that perfectly fits right in the middle. And we're gonna make this the same style green, okay? And we have this B2 side panel. So what I can do with this side panel is I can create like a little pattern, okay? And I'll show you how to do that as well. So I could take this and move this, just move this back to where it was. I can take this kind of like this, right? And it's okay, once again, if things bleed off and past the bleed line, it's perfectly fine. And I can kind of alter the way these fit and the way these look. So I'll go with this, and I'll just create one more, and I'll put it right here in the middle on the top, change the angle, and make it small, and kind of something like this, right? And what I could do is, first of all, I gotta move this one backward. So push this, or push these up rather. That's probably a better design. Cut this that way. That's pretty good. And what I'll do is I'll just take these, and I'll just select the group button. I'll group them. And what I'll do is I'll make sure they're all green first before I do that. And just select the green. I know I should have done that earlier, but it's okay, you know. And what I could do here is I could just duplicate it, right? Something like this. And you want to give just about enough space in between the two, just to you know, make it look and feel good. That's it. We're just adding character here. I believe I duplicated one here, and so let's go ahead and add this here, right? It doesn't have to be, like I said, too fancy, and don't be too harsh on yourself. You know, this is all a learning process. Even if your first design doesn't come out good, or good to your you know, vision or your view, it doesn't really matter. It's not a big deal. Shout out to Mark Wilder in the comments. He's one of the viewers here, and he said, you know, having a piece of art is like having a child, because you make it and you're happy with the way it looks, and to you it looks great and it looks beautiful. And no, you don't really want to admit sometimes that it could be better or there could be improvements, and I totally understand that. But at the end of the day, if you're always working to get better on your designs, that's the most important thing. And at the end of the day, the more art you create, the better you're going to get over time. So what we can do here is, since there's one big 4-leaf clover that's going to be right here in the middle of the backpack, and it's right here, we can create another really big one that I wanted to just arch over, kind of like this. So you guys will see exactly what I'm talking about right now, and I want to set it up kind of like that, right? So this is exactly what I'm talking about, but I don't want it to mess with the cross, right? I want it to be in its own kind of space. So perfectly like this, right? And what I could do, actually, if I really wanted to get crazy with it, is I can go with this green, okay? And what I could do is I can create an outline. So make it just slightly bigger, like just a millimeter bigger, and put it backwards like this. And I can kind of center it. Obviously, it's not perfectly centered, and it's going to be hard to get it perfectly centered. But what this will look like is, you guys will see it on the backpack when I actually get this all said and done. And if you want, you could feel free to take this pattern that we created earlier, duplicate it, bring it here, and switch it around the way it looks, kind of like this, right? And for me, I think ever since I was a kid, I've been really fascinated with Celtic imagery, right? The way they do their crosses, the way they do their, you know, the 4-leaf clovers. What about the 4-leaf clover? Does it mean luck? You know, the leprechaun stories, you know, the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, all that kind of stuff. I don't know why, it just really fascinated me. And, you know, I was just a fan ever since I was a kid of the whole entire thing. You know, St. Patrick's Day, all that kind of cool stuff. So it's just something that I was just genuinely interested in, right? And notice here how I am getting areas of the design cut off on purpose, right? And I could just search for more clover designs here in this one. I like something like this with a tall stem, and I can make this kind of here, like where it's kind of jumping into the design, right? Kind of like that. And we could do this a few more times on this art. We could do it right here, right? Something like this. And we could do this here, okay? Let me go ahead and do this here. Switch this around, and I can add it right here, something like that. Doesn't have to be perfect, like I said. And so for me, this is about pretty decent. And I could go ahead and add something here. This is going to be, I believe, above the mesh pocket. So I'll go like this. I'll add one more 4-leaf clover. Let's go ahead and duplicate this big one and move it down here. But since the art direction is the opposite way, we're going to go like this. Okay, we're going to keep it kind of like this. We're going to have it just fit. Okay, just fit here. And what I could do really, if I really wanted to get a little bit crazy, a little bit out of the box here, just increase the size of this. What I want to do is I can go to text and type in Celtic Pride and turn this the same way in black, and it will be 90 degrees. And let's go with our text, our special font here, and let's go ahead and make this smaller to where it fits inside this area right here. Okay, and we could just center it kind of the way we want it to fit, and we'll just improve the section here. And you can see here how this looks now is this completely changes the design. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we are going to actually, I want to do this too. I want to take this cross, duplicate it. Sorry, I was gonna publish the whole entire thing right now, but I actually like this, the way this cross looks so much, that I'm gonna put it inside here. And I know this might be a little extra. Tell me, guys, what you think in the comments. Is this Celtic cross a little bit too extra inside the 4-leaf clover? But it might be a little bit too much. I think it is too much, actually. I'll take it off because I already have a Celtic cross in the middle here. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna download this in transparent format. And you could give it a test. You could actually delete this template in the background, so it's locked right now, but you could delete this template in the background. You can delete this, and you could give it a test to see how it will look. So I want it to be all black, kind of like this. And let's go ahead and download and hit transparent. Let's download that first version here. Okay, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna upload this into Redbubble and see what it looks in real time. And I'm super excited for this. I think it's gonna look really nice. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna log into my Redbubble account and upload this and give it a test. Okay, so I'll be right back. So as you guys can see, I uploaded the design for all designs here. Now, once again, I do not recommend you do this. It will not look good on a t-shirt or anything like that. It just it's not made for it. It's not made for a pillow. It's not made for any of that. But in terms of the backpack, and this is the first time I'm seeing this, take a look at how that amazing piece of art looks. Right? I can set this in black, and you can see, look at that. Look at that backpack. And it looks perfect in my opinion. Now, it's not sized to perfection. What I could do is I can make it just a little bit smaller for everything to kind of fit. And just about right there is kind of where I want it to go. Now, I could make this a little bit smaller. There we go. That's about perfect. And you can see here how it all kind of fits relatively perfectly. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to publish this product, and we're going to get to see it in real time. But once again, if you're going to do this, you don't want to apply this specific design to all your products. There are obviously things that I can go back and change. I can make, this 4-leaf clover a little bit smaller. I can make certain things a little bit smaller, but it is customized, it is controllable, and it's perfectly editable. So this is not something I do very often, like I said, but it is good to know and it's good to learn. But I have a certain method that I use for backpacks, literally for all designs, and I don't re-upload any kind of images. I only upload the image once up here, and then that's the one that I go with. And I have ways that I set that up, and I show that, like I said, in the course. So if you want to learn how to design designs a little bit faster and not sit here and do 30 minutes on one single product, that course is definitely for you. But let's go ahead and publish this artwork, and let's see what we get here. So we're gonna have this only for me because I do not want it public. It's not something that I'm gonna be focusing on selling. And let's see what we get here when it's all processed and we look for our backpack. I'm very excited to see how it's going to look. So let's go ahead and scroll down now. Just take a look at the different options we have. And there it is. Here we have our backpack. We can click download images to see how it will look. You can see it looks pretty decent, right? So if I could download it, it would be nice, but definitely something to improve on. You could see just a little hint of the word Celtic Pride on the top here, on the very top of the rim. And that's one of my favorite aspects to it. Like right here, you guys can see what I'm talking about when we had the cross and the word Celtic Pride. There are ways to improve this. Like I said, we probably have to fit this a little bit in the middle. Maybe a mistake that I did there. Maybe I would kind of get a bigger stem for this right here and enlarge it. You could see the outline very, very vaguely on this 4-leaf clover, but I actually really like that feature. It is not a stem. You know, at first I did think it was a stem of a 4-leaf clover. It is not. Let's see if we can actually copy the link, or view the product page would actually be pretty cool. View the product page, and let's see if they have any other images for this. So let's go ahead and reload this. And yeah, they don't have any other images right now, but that's okay. I actually really like it the way it's set up, and you can see, like I said, that Celtic Pride. We do have the pocket right here, how we had the 4-leaf clover on the side of the pocket with the word Celtic Pride in it. I thought that was really, really clean, really cool. And overall, this is kind of a different way to set up a design. Pretty cool. But if you guys have any questions on this, leave it in the comments down below. And like I said, there's different ways to get this going. Me personally, I have my own system that allows me to create designs on every single product with only one export from different software. So if you guys are interested in that, all the links will be in the description but down below. If you want to get access to the template, I'll leave that in the description box down below as well. The link to the blog will take you there. And my blog is full of different information that you guys can check out, different articles, different things that will help you gain a little bit more success on Redbubble if that's something you're interested in. So thank you guys for watching this video and joining me to create this awesome Celtic Pride backpack. I know it's not perfect, but it doesn't have to be. Anytime you create something that's custom like this, maybe for a friend, for yourself, or just for some family, whoever it is, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's all about that customization and all that love you put into it, alright? I'll talk to you later. Thank you guys for watching. Peace out. Bye.